Well, my wife and I had met Mark over at a home show in Philadelphia, and along with some of the other vendors that were over there, it was definitely one that we were interested in when we finally made the purchase of our new house. After we finally were able to go ahead, find the house that was a good fit, it was one of our first calls to go ahead and get Home Trimworks in to give us an idea of, exactly what, some of the costs would be for what we were looking to go ahead and do. And I think that from the very beginning, one of the most important aspects of working with Mark in Home Trim, you're working with people that basically are really not interested in so much getting a sale. The whole team is interested in transforming your house into a home, to turning it into a piece of architecture that is unlike any other. And when you come home at the end of the day, you say to yourself, you smile and you say, this is something that I feel very very blessed to be able to go ahead and have, and really just feel appreciative for being able to find somebody or a company like them to go ahead and do the type of work that they do, in order to give you a house that is unlike any other. Mm-hmm.
So from the time you called us up, we came at, how did you find the whole design process? Was it easy to understand? Did illustrations, did it all come together for you right from the start?
I'm a very visual person, so for me, I have trouble with design and architecture. I can look at things and I know that I like the way they look, when the finished product is in front of me, but I get very nervous at the beginning, especially when you are spending a certain amount of money. You want to go ahead and make sure you're making a good decision. You want to make sure that, hey, this is going to live up to the level of what you see, on your website and on Facebook, and to have that in my house now and know that not only does it go ahead and meet that level, but it surpasses it, is a wonderful thing.
Cool. That process of looking at, getting the sense of what you want to do in your home, the transformation of looking at the images to the drawings to that finished product, did it seem clear during the design phase as to exactly how it was going to look in your house?
Yeah, Mark did a great job going ahead once he came in, and we did have that initial meeting to discuss some of our ideas, to actually be able to go ahead and see them put to paper, and to have illustrations of what the finished product would look like. And I think to be able to go ahead and honestly, the finished product is definitely better as far as even than the illustration. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise that I'd recommend as far as for anyone to go ahead and definitely don't be afraid as far as to take the plunge. You're going to be satisfied, and the next question you're going to be asking yourself is, what room am I doing next?
Mm-hmm. From the installer's standpoint, from the first day the guys got here, when they started their work, they got here, they unloaded, they put the materials in the house. Or to the delivery. How was the delivery when they brought the materials out? Keep that one short. How was the delivery experience?
Delivery experience was definitely great, especially having bought a brand new house, and this being sort of our first house moving from a townhouse. You worry about everything, and to even see the level of professionalism that the delivery drivers, they were very careful as far as coming through the front door, putting all the woodwork down, it was definitely a very easy process, no problems at all.
Installers, when they got here, introducing themselves, reviewing the project with you once again, with the project foreman. Make sure you mention project foreman in your answer. When you work with the project foreman, did they seem to have a real good grasp on what was going on and give you a level of confidence that these guys understood everything that Mark, the designer, had put together and were able to carry it straight through?
I like to pride myself on being sort of a good judge of character, and I could tell from the very beginning, from the project foreman down through, the chain with the carpenters that had gone ahead and worked with the project. They take pride in what they do. This is more than just a job for them. they go ahead and you can tell that they're excited as far as for the finished project. And they're excited as far as I could tell as far as for me to see the finished project. And they definitely are sort of on a next level, especially in a market of contractors that are out to really just make a buck. That's not the case with them. So
perfect. On their timeliness, in terms of when they got here, did they keep the house clean? Were they respectful to your belongings? Did as it came together, how quickly did it come together? And after day one, day two, and you could start to see, oh my gosh, that plan, here it is in reality. And were they clean during that process?
And you can imagine, for us, having literally just purchased the home, there was a certain level of excitement and desire to get in as soon as possible. So the team was definitely under the gun to go ahead and expedite the process in a fast and efficient way. And when timelines were met, when the project was completed, and at the speed, along with the cleanliness, the way they kept the house, I think that when I look at the whole process, even my wife really was impressed as far as with sort of the family type atmosphere that was created, especially even with the painters, all the way down as far as to the painters. It definitely gave us sort of that family type feel, and all the timelines were met. Everything was executed to a T.
During the process, when you had add-ons, you could see this room coming together and the excitement level grew, and then you were like, okay, there was a bunch of things you were thinking about doing, when the project got started, but you weren't really sure. You wanted to feel it out and see how it was going to come together, and then you had add-ons. How did that process work as far as the add-on projects, and did it blend in with what was happening?
I remember speaking with Mark, and after the lumber delivery had taken place, and I had said, wow, that's a lot of wood. And he had mentioned to me that, well, we do go ahead and put some extra materials on the truck just in case you were to add on to any project. And as expected, once we started to go ahead and see some of the product actually get up and some of the work come together, we definitely did go ahead and add on several items. Even right now with the house, in the condition that it's in, I mean, there's always going to be a project. I think that's one thing that's nice about Home Trimworks. There's always going to be a project that you're going to go ahead and want to work on, and you can go ahead and do that at any point. It's not like you have to be under the gun to go ahead and complete everything all at once. And also to see the different levels of projects. I understand that they can go ahead and be large, but to know that if you do have a smaller project, that same level and quality is going to go ahead and be used as far as on the small projects as well as the large ones. I think it's very important. The fireplace is by far my favorite part of the house. This was a major work in progress. We started out with a couple different designs. I had Mark going ahead and actually penciling in, actually on the wall, a couple different ideas, and I visually wasn't able to go ahead and really see how, or conceptualize how it was going to turn out. And this finished product is just absolutely, it's stunning, it's amazing. The mantle, I just find myself sitting on the couch asking myself, like, how the heck did they do that? It's next level stuff. It really is the best of the best. And I remember Max actually going ahead and holding up this centerpiece here. My wife and I weren't sure if we were going to go ahead and install it or not. So I remember sitting at my desk at work and having a couple photos come over with Max holding it up, so that we could get an idea of whether or not we definitely liked the idea of breaking up this centerpiece to go ahead and create a whole separate dimension as far as the television. And as you can see, it turned out beautifully. So this is one of the add-ons that we wound up adding on to with these built-ins that were put in here. And I just remember always being able to envision, sitting at my wife or I sitting at the window seat and, taking a look at the little guy out back in the play set, or, over the weekend we put together a big pile of leaves. And as you can see, it's definitely one of his favorite things to do right now, to go ahead and just jump in it. And it really came together really nice. and little guy loves it in here. Which is definitely one of the most important things. He loves this room, and it's just so cool to go ahead and see him hang out here and have my wife sit down and be able to go ahead and enjoy him playing around. So there he goes right now. He's jumping in there again. Another beautiful thing about the buildings is actually the usefulness of them. As you can see here, we had 2 benches put in for storage, which is nice. And then also we have obviously the cabinets, which you can go ahead and use as storage. This was always a problem that we ran into with the townhouse, not having storage for his toys or for his books. And as you can see, it met our need perfectly. So I remember having a conversation with Mark. One of the last things that we wound up making the decision to do was to go ahead and add the wrought iron balusters. And I had said to him, if you had to go ahead and pick one last thing to go ahead and do, to really pull everything together, what would you do? And he suggested as far as the wrought iron balusters. And as you can see, they turned out, they look awesome. It really goes ahead and gives the home its own unique look, and we're definitely pleased as far as with the way that everything turned out. In regards to the entranceway, definitely another highlight of the house. When you sort of look at the 2 main areas to go ahead and put trim, I think the entranceway as well as the great room is going to go ahead and be the 2 places where you want to go ahead and make a statement. And I think this pretty much speaks for itself. Definitely another incredible job by the design team to go ahead and put it all together, and the finished product's just awesome. All right, so with me being in the mortgage business, I understand the need to go ahead and meet and exceed your customers' expectations. And also I have very high expectations. So when this finished product was able to be delivered, not only on time, but actually prior to the deadline, it really, I thought, said a lot about Home Trimworks as a company. And it's amazing just how fast I've been able to go ahead through a couple posts using Facebook, a couple emails. Everybody wants to know, how did you do that to your house? And I was able to go ahead and make a couple really good referrals, to people that do want to go ahead and make their house a home, and have something else that nobody else has, and really go ahead and make the changes that will go ahead, and once you want to come home. You want to come home to this house. I want to come home to this home. I want to go ahead and enjoy the time that I have with my family, in this atmosphere. And, I really have nothing but praise to say about Home Trimworks. And for those people that are on the fence, for whatever reason, whether it be, is this worth as far as the cost, if it's financially related, if it's, time constraint related, don't be afraid to go ahead and, pull the trigger. I think that the finished product will definitely go ahead and exceed as far as your expectations. Home Trimwork definitely met and exceeded our expectations. I love coming home as far as to our house and seeing the architecture and the attention to detail that was put into everything. I think that it really goes ahead and culminates what type of lifestyle we want to go ahead and live, and it's timeless. The architecture is definitely timeless, and I think that that's important too. It's not like a television set or a stereo where the next best or greatest thing is going to go ahead and come along. I think that this is going to go ahead and definitely stay with us as far as for the length that we have this house. And my wife and I already look forward to going ahead and doing a couple other projects, some buildings in the office, as well as maybe some buildings up in the master bedroom, and would not hesitate to go ahead and recommend Home Trimwork to anyone. Actually have a couple referrals already, just from a couple posts on Facebook, as well as a couple emails.